filled the Orlando Stadium for its 105th anniversary, celebrating its history and its achievements. It also reflected on what it needs to do as a party to bring the change that was foreseen by those who fought for democracy. President Jacob Zuma is said to have said the ANC has heard the message of the people, that the ANC accepts that it has made mistakes and these mistakes shall be corrected. According to the NEC statement, there is some evidence that the party is trying to change. SABC News spoke earlier to Professor Susan Booysen of the Organisational Unit at the Wits School of Governance, who gave her take on the January 8th statement.
Is an ANC statement delivered by the President, ironic in many ways. But it is a statement that speaks of many compromises. It is articulate in some respects. In others, it really holds back and does not say enough. It acknowledges problems, it acknowledges some mistakes, but although in largely very vague terms, it does not come forward with the passion, the conviction, which I believe the ANC really needs at this stage to get a turnaround. I think this was a really historical moment, potentially historical moment for the ANC, where it could go out and not just acknowledge the mistakes and perhaps acknowledge it with more heart and conviction, but to say this, to give a new hope, to give new hope, new inspiration to people. Because South African voters, citizens, ANC supporters, former supporters, to a large extent they are in a political no man's land, where they are wondering, some have doubts about the ANC, some are going towards opposition parties, but the bulk of them are in this no man's land where they doubt the ANC, but do not yet go with opposition parties. And this was an opportunity yesterday at a crucial moment in the run-up, not just to ANC leadership elections, but to national elections and provincial elections in South Africa, to start pushing out that conviction, that sense that could attract the supporters and followers back into the ANC. And there are many questions that voters and citizens have about the ANC at this stage. I believe they were not sufficiently answered in this statement.
The statement was also reflecting on unification within the ANC. Do you think that the statement really got to that particular point and that the members actually heard that particular statement?
The unification message was there on paper. It was very strong on paper again, but the ANC faces inherent limitations in trying to get this message of anti-factionalism, of unity, the need for unity, to get that across sufficiently. Because regrettably, we know President Zuma is part of a certain faction. He is the face of a faction, and many of his supporters in the Premier League, in the Women's League, in the ANC Youth League, in the Veterans, they are already campaigning for a certain new slate, and the president was coming in and speaking anti-slate. That is certainly a message that we wanted to the president on behalf of the ANC to see him articulate that, because we know that is a serious problem in the ANC. But being the fact that he is the face of a faction, it just didn't come across with the necessary conviction. And in fact, we have just seen Gwede speak out about the need to get away from the factions, but then it did not come across as sufficiently clear that this is a president, this is a person that is ready to get across that message, that the ANC is really serious about moving beyond the factions.
Professor, let's look at that particular question. When we talk about factionalism, the president addressed the factionalism issue within the organization, saying, and I quote once again, "Our people have told us that we come across as too busy fighting with one another and do not pay sufficient attention to their needs." Do you think that that was perhaps enough, and that was perhaps introspection from the ANC's perspective?
it certainly requires massive amounts of introspection. And in that statement delivered by President Zuma on behalf of the ANC, one could certainly hear the different voices in the ANC and the recent NEC voices that we've heard very clearly at the end of last year. We could hear that come across, that there is a need, and people acknowledge that people in ANC acknowledge that people on the ground are very aware of the intense amount of infighting in the ANC and the extent to which that is distracting the ANC, taking the eye away from the ball of governing the country and looking at organizational integrity. However, again, we can just not, sadly, at this point in time, move away from the fact that the president of the ANC is in a faction. He speaks on behalf of a faction. He does not condemn specifically those factions that are propagating a certain line of succession on his behalf, as it is widely accepted in political circles. And this epitomizes so much of yesterday's ANC anniversary statement. The right sounds are there on paper, spoken repeatedly, and yet there is a lack of credibility. And that is one of the big dilemmas that the ANC faces at this stage. That huge discrepancy between what is necessary to get its credibility reinstated and what a factional section of the ANC can deliver when it comes to statements like this.